You ever open your banking app and just kind of stare at it for a second? Like, not even in a dramatic way, just a quiet pause. Maybe it says $137.42 or $482. Or if it's a good week, maybe you've got a little over $1,000 sitting there and you feel this weird mix of relief and anxiety at the same time. Because, yeah, it's something, but also one unexpected expense and it's gone. And then you do that mental math thing. Okay, rent is coming up, groceries, gas. Oh, right, that subscription I forgot to cancel. And suddenly that number shrinks in your head before anything has even been spent. And you tell yourself, I just need to get ahead, just a little bit. Just get to like $5,000 or $10,000. Then I'll finally feel okay. But somehow, no matter how hard you try, it feels like you're stuck in this loop where money comes in and then disappears just as fast. Honestly, I've spent way too much time thinking about this exact phase. This weird, frustrating stretch where you're not completely broke, but you're definitely not stable either. And I kind of obsess over how money actually feels in real life. Not just the math of it, but the psychology, the stress, the invisible forces that keep people stuck even when they're trying to do everything right. Because here's the thing no one really explains clearly. Going from $0 to $10,000 isn't just hard because of the numbers. It's hard because of how everything around you is working against you during that phase. And once you see it, like really see it, something shifts. You stop blaming yourself as much. You start making slightly different decisions. And weirdly, progress becomes possible in a way it wasn't before. So why is this phase so brutally difficult? And more importantly, how do you actually get through it? Let's talk about that. Section 1. You're playing defense, not offense. At low savings levels, you're not building wealth, you're surviving. And those are two completely different games. When you have $0 or close to it, every financial decision is reactive. Something happens, and you respond. Rent increases, you adjust. Your phone breaks, you panic. Your car needs repairs. That's not an inconvenience, that's a crisis. It's like being in a soccer match where you never get to leave your own goalpost. You're just constantly blocking shots. And yeah, you might be doing a great job blocking those shots, but you're not scoring anything. Let me give you a simple example. Say your car battery dies. That's what, $120 to $200? If you have $10,000 saved, that's annoying. You barely think about it. If you have $300 saved, that's half your safety net gone instantly. And now your brain goes into overdrive. Okay, what if something else happens? What if I get sick? What if rent goes up? So you tighten spending even more. But that stress makes everything harder. This matters because you're not just fighting numbers. You're fighting constant mental pressure. And pressure leads to bad decisions. Not because you're irresponsible, but because your brain is trying to protect you in the short term. Actionable takeaway. Your first goal isn't wealth. It's breathing room. Even $500 to $1,000 in a separate emergency buffer changes your decision-making dramatically. It's not about the amount. It's about reducing the number of panic moments you experience. Section 2. Small mistakes hit like big mistakes. Here's something weird. At higher income or savings levels, mistakes barely matter. At low levels, they're devastating. If you overdraft your account and get hit with a $35 fee, that's not just $35. It might mean you now can't cover something else, which leads to another fee, which spirals. Or let's say you impulse buy something for $80. That's not just $80. That might be gas for the week, groceries for a few days, or your entire margin of safety. So the same behavior has completely different consequences depending on where you are financially. And honestly, this creates a weird psychological trap. Because you know mistakes are costly, you become hyper-aware of every decision, and that pressure can backfire. You either become overly restrictive, or you swing the other way and think, whatever, I'm already behind. You ever done that? Yeah, me too. Why it matters. When mistakes are expensive, progress slows down. Not because you're failing, but because the margin for error is tiny. Actionable takeaway? Focus on eliminating recurring mistakes, not one-off ones. Cancel subscriptions you don't use. Avoid habits that quietly drain money every month. One-time slip-ups hurt, but recurring leaks are what keep you stuck. Section 3. Everything costs more when you're broke. This one feels unfair because kind of is. When you don't have money,
Everything becomes more expensive. You can't buy in bulk, so you pay more per item. You can't afford preventative maintenance, so things break more often. You might rely on credit, which adds interest, which makes everything cost even more. It's like being stuck in a system where the less you have, the more you're charged for existing. Let's say your tires are wearing out. If you had $10,000 saved, you'd replace them early, avoid damage, and move on. If you're at zero, you wait, and wait, and wait until something goes wrong, and suddenly you're paying for more than just tires. Same thing with health, appliances, and even food. Cheap options often lead to long-term costs, but they're the only options available in the moment. Why it matters? You're not just saving toward $10,000. You're escaping a system where your lack of money creates more expenses. Actionable takeaway: prioritize spending that prevents future expenses. It sounds counterintuitive, but sometimes spending $50 now saves you $200 later. Learn to recognize those moments. They're crucial during this phase. Section 4. Motivation fades because progress feels invisible. Saving your first $1,000 feels incredible. Saving your next $1,000? Not so much. And that's a problem, because progress early on is slow and, honestly, kind of boring. You might cut expenses, pick up extra work, say no to things, and at the end of the month, you've saved $200, which is good. But emotionally, it doesn't feel like much. And this is where a lot of people quit, not because they're incapable, but because the reward system doesn't match the effort. It's like going to the gym for months and barely seeing physical changes. Eventually, you start questioning if it's even working. Why it matters? The early phase requires the most discipline, but gives the least visible reward. That mismatch is dangerous. Actionable takeaway: track progress differently. Don't just track total savings, track consistency. How many months did I save something? How many unnecessary expenses did I avoid? You're building habits, not just a number. Section 6. Your environment isn't built for saving. Let's be honest for a second. Everything around you is designed to make you spend. Apps, ads, subscriptions, social pressure, even your friends sometimes. You go out for a simple dinner and suddenly it's $30. You scroll online and there's a limited time offer. You feel stressed, so you order something small to feel better. And none of these decisions feel huge individually, but together, they quietly destroy your ability to build savings. And when you're in that $0 to $10,000 phase, you don't have the margin to absorb that. Why it matters? You're not just saving toward $10,000. You're escaping a system where your lack of money creates more expenses. Actionable takeaway: prioritize spending that prevents future expenses. It sounds counterintuitive again, but sometimes spending $50 now saves you $200 later. Learn to recognize those moments. They're crucial during this phase. Section 7. Income matters more than you think, but not how you think. At some point, budgeting hits a ceiling. You can only cut so much, and this is where people get stuck. They try to optimize every tiny expense while ignoring the bigger lever, income. But here's the nuance. It's not just about earning more, it's about earning more consistently. Because unstable income makes saving almost impossible. You can't plan, you can't automate, you're always guessing. And that uncertainty keeps you in survival mode. Why it matters? Savings requires stability, not just effort. Actionable takeaway: focus on income reliability at first, then growth. Even a slightly lower but stable income can be more powerful than a higher but unpredictable one, especially in this phase. Section 7. The identity shift no one talks about. This might sound a little abstract, but it's important. Going from $0 to $10,000 isn't just a financial shift. It's an identity shift. You go from someone who reacts to someone who plans, from someone who hopes nothing goes wrong to someone who knows they can handle it if it does. And that shift changes everything. But it doesn't happen instantly. It happens slowly, awkwardly, with setbacks. You'll still feel broke even as you improve. You'll still hesitate before spending. You'll still question if you're doing it right.